That is one way to kick off the NBA in-season tournament, the inaugural in-season tournament, and the Warriors still won a group play against Oklahoma City. What a game as they win their 5th straight game, and they're now 4-0 on the road. Last season, they didn't win their 4th road game until January 13th, but they get one, and for back-to-back games, Willie, the Warriors win with 0.2 seconds left on that Curry flip shot there off the backboard, and they still won at OKC 141-139 as we welcome everybody to Toyota Warriors Postgame Live with the Hall of Famer Chris Mullen, NBA champ Festus Ezeli. I am Bonte Hill. You are fired up right now. What a game in OKC.
That was an incredible start to IST. How do you say
IST.
In-season tournament?
There you go.
We talked about this, right? This is game 6, and it's giving the players a lot to fight for right now. This is a team, the OKC team, coming in without their best player. And the other guys, Chet Holmgren, I said before the game, the guys that need to step up this game. It's Chet Holmgren, it's Jalen Williams, both Jalen Williams, it's Lou Dort. They really came into this game, and Josh Giddey really took them to the end of the 4th quarter. But, man, when you have a guy like Steph Curry on your team, are you really ever out of it?
Not really.
Not really. Both teams were incredibly efficient offensively. The Thunder shoots over 60% from the field, over 50 from 3, and over 80 from the free throw line and lose the ball game. Once again, comes down to incredible championship execution at the end. And I can't respond to that. That might be a record. We have Draymond Green's record in the books. When's the last time a team won back-to-back games with .2 on the clock?
Well, that's why we have the best research team in the business here at NBC Sports Bay Area, and the record is intact, Willie. The Warriors now improved in 126-24 when Draymond Green hits at least 2 threes in the basketball game. So the offense was hopping. Defensively, they'll look at the tape, but it's season high in points, season high in assists, season high in three-point shots. And really in a game like that, Fezzi, things are not going your way. Lou Dort's having a game of his life, and you just figure out a way. You got to give the bench credit for keeping his team in it in that 3rd quarter.
Especially, well, the first half, you can't get past the first half without talking about Dario Saric and Chris Paul. Dario Saric really did a great job in the first half offensively. The 3rd quarter, we have Jonathan Kuminga came in the 2nd half. He had 2 points at the half and ends up with 19 points. I mean, that's an incredible 2nd half for Jonathan Kuminga, for Moses Moody, Chris Paul. I mean, Chris Paul had, 12 assists tonight?
13 assists.
13 assists tonight and had 1 point. You know, being able to control the floor. These are all the things that the bench brings into the game. But the defense did not show up until the last minute of the game, Willie. I know you like that. You like your offense.
No, hey, offensive efficiency is where it's at. The bench points 57-37 in advantage of the Warriors. And again, the execution down the end. The ability to make stops, one stop when you really needed it. And an incredible shot by Steph Curry.
Yeah, no doubt. Chris Paul, 54 assists on the season, only 6 turnovers. His 13 assists tonight, the most off the bench since Mr. Jennings. Keith Jennings did it back in 1994, November 15th. So Chris Paul playing well, Kuminga with a big 2nd half. But, of course, it starts and ends with Stephen Curry with the flip shot there, some timely 3-point shots. Overall, offensively, you could look at this tape and say this is an offensive clinic for the Golden State Warriors.
I mean, you just got to think about it. Think about it in terms of this. Steph Curry is known for the 3-point shot, obviously, but what he can do, the way he can finish, that was a layup, a flip shot layup against a Chet Holmgren, who we came into this game talking about his defensive prowess, his length. That's a 7'2" guy who is coming off the dribble, doing all the things this game. Very impressive game by this young OKC team. A lot of offense all around for both teams. And if you love offense, you just love to watch this game right now.
If you're OKC, for the all night long, you're shooting 60% from the field, over 50% from the 3. You can't gain any separation. So OKC knew whoever had the ball last, 16 seconds left, you got Steph Curry at half court dribbling around. Not a very good feeling if you're a defender.
And, of course, we'll break down the final play of the game. Of course, that was overturned by the referees there in OKC. But let's pick up the crunch time tape because this was a wild, wild affair. Look at Jay Will out here. Steph going one-on-one against an elite defender in the clutch. Got to give him some credit. When it's due, salute the Chef Curry. So social media is going crazy. Dub Nation's going crazy. Got to feel good after this one. This was a game that really OKC had no business losing. Those numbers are incredible. Only 60%, 50, 80 from the free throw line.
But they put those numbers all night long, never got any separation from the Golden State Warriors. And for the 2nd game in a row, we saw that championship DNA, that championship execution, and just incredible shot making by Steph. I mean, by Clay, and then finally by Steph with point 2. That's what this in-season tournament's all about, to pass on that passion and love of the game to the younger generation. Steph plays like that every single night.
No doubt.
That was mid-February.
No doubt.
Felt like a playoff game.
No, it did feel like a playoff game. I believe they improved to 55-5 that day, maybe 56-5.
How did it feel today, guys?
This is the tournament.
Hey, I'm into it now. I'm into it. Let's go. I'm into it. Stephen Curry.
If this doesn't get you into it, nothing will.
Yeah, nothing. You got no chance. 30 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists for Stephen Curry, 9-15 overall from the floor. Like you said, Malik, if you're not in, I know Fezzi was already in on the in-season tournament, the inaugural in-season tournament, and tonight was the first game against Oklahoma City for group play in the West, Group C, I believe. And so, yes, if you're not in now, I don't know what can help you. I may be in.
Obviously, this last play, he just put the ball in Steph's hands and he does his thing. But again, the Sacramento game, we saw Steph rush the ball up for a real 2-for-1. Make that nice little run with 32 seconds left to guarantee they had the last possession of the game. Tonight, Clay makes a big 3 to tie it up at 133. Steph does his thing, and back-to-back games, they win at 0.2 seconds. That's probably a record too, I bet.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be. I can't recall anything like that happening, Fezzi.
I think both ways. What I love is the end of the game execution. Offensively, tonight we talked about the defense being non-existent, but still the Warriors are finding ways to win. And you have Steph, Clay, you have Chris Paul on the floor at the end of the game. They have offense and they have defensive guys to come in the game at the end. This is great. This is just a great thing to watch for the Warriors right now. It's a great thing to be a part of.
And I wouldn't say it was bad defense. On a given night when both teams have their stars going and they're all hot and they're getting good shots, that's what happens. So I thought the effort was there. You know, playing percentages, you're going to give up certain shots to certain people. Lou Dort has an incredible night.
Right.
You got to shake his hand and give him credit. But again, I mean, for the Warriors to etch this out, all of a sudden, you know what? After a game like this, that floor looks beautiful. You guys
both teams love the floor. Just the way they came in and were shooting in the first half. Are you kidding me?
Maybe the referees were fooled by the floor, man. They were calling some things up there.
Field goal percentage tonight? That's incredible.
I honestly have a headache from the floor from looking at it all night long. But
it's working, though.
You know, it's
better
working.
Get used to it.
You better get used to it.
It ain't going anywhere.
At least they don't have to play Chicago, right? That red corner, Madison Square Garden with that orange court. Anyway, let's take a look at Draymond Green's performance tonight because he was barking.
When he's playing like this, the Warriors are unbeatable.
He's playing like this both ways, both sides of the ball. What I love about his game is when he's aggressive, he can play in the game with Kevon Looney at the same time. Because otherwise, the paint is plaqued. You have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. They can't get to the rim like they want to. So Draymond being aggressive is actually great for this Warriors team as well. It's great for the offense. We talk about the assist numbers. All those things work in hand with him also being aggressive and attacking the paint.
And we always talk about when the ball's moving and everyone's included in the offense, everyone feels good about their game. That carries over to the end of the game. You have your rhythm. So you're not, when you're left open, well, that was a beautiful read, but the fake handoff, Draymond just instinctively got to the rim. He would have shot that. Defense came up. Beautiful lob to Gary Payton, GP2. So to me, just being involved from the start, he hit those 2 threes early on. I just thought for the rest of the game, it wasn't just about scoring, but he had his scoring mentality on, and I thought that really carried over to the end of the game.
And look, you give him credit. He gave Lou Dort that layup there with about 30 seconds left and made him earn it at the free throw line where Lou Dort only made 1 of 2. All right, let's take a look at the bench here because I thought the bench was very impressive once again. And it started with Dario Saric in that first half.
Having a guy like Dario Saric come into the game, he can shoot the ball. Obviously, that pick and roll is deadly. It's really lethal. It's going to be open most nights. And so that plus the fact that he can pass and create open shots for other guys, 3 assists tonight. I love watching this game. I love seeing the big man come into the game and put his imprint.
Yeah, the chemistry that Chris Paul and Dario Saric had in Phoenix has carried over. And as long as the opposing team is going to play a traditional 5, he's going to be out that three-point line wide open. Chris Paul is going to get him shots. He probably could have had 3 or 4 more three-point shots. He's very unselfish. But he's the perfect fit here, as you said, Draymond, Bonte, because a lot of times teams want to at least have one big to take advantage of the Warriors' small lineup. But what that does on the other end is open up Dario Saric, leaves him wide open. Jonathan Kuminga. So the bench scoring, 57-37, plus 20 for the Warriors. Kuminga shown, to me, more growth.
Another thing I love in his game is the fact that he's crashing the boards. That's something that he can do to affect this team. And then I love his sweet shot from the mid-range. That's another thing for him that he can get patented and help get easy buckets for the Warriors as they move forward.
We'll get to Moody at some point, but he had 9 points off the bench. 8 points off the bench. GP2 with 9 points off the bench. Again, Kuminga, he's growing and growing up every single game. And you saw Steve Kerr trust him down the stretch, putting him in for defensive situations there. So situational basketball, Steve Kerr is calling on 0-0 there. The Warriors shoot 53%, 45 from the three-point line. They out-rebound OKC, and look at the assist numbers. They are passing that rock around. 36 assists, the 9 steals there. They made all the plays down the stretch. What a win for the Golden State Warriors. Although OKC did shoot 60%, they'll be kicking themselves over this one. Let's hear from the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr, presented by BMW.
You were down in the mix when they were just kind of reviewing that last play. What was your perspective and what's your explanation of it?
Well, live it just looked like the ball was going in, and then when I saw the replay on the scoreboard up top, it looked like Draymond touched the rim, and then I guess it's just a determination of did it impact the shot. I'm not quite sure of the rules, so I was sort of expecting them to overturn it, and but obviously they allowed it, and we escaped.
What did you just make out of the whole closing minutes of that game?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, they took it to us the whole game. We really couldn't find much traction in the game. It was a pickup game in the first half, and we had 12 turnovers first half, and we weren't playing very well. But I thought Jonathan changed the game late third with his energy and his force going to the rim. I thought Wiggs, his offensive boards in the fourth quarter were huge for us. And those two guys, in my mind, kind of shifted the momentum of the game and the energy of the game. And we climbed back in, with that third quarter close and then early fourth, we make a little push. So great execution. Second half, 3 turnovers. The ball moved. Guys knocked down shots. And we did just enough defensively because it wasn't our best night at that end, and they made a million shots, but we did just enough down the stretch.
What did you think of Andrew's performance? I mean, it seemed like he was a little bit more aggressive in making more noise than he has so far.
I think for us to take that next step, Wiggs, JK, and Gary have to be the athletes that they are. They have to provide that force and speed and athleticism and at both ends, whether it's on offensive rebounds or, driving to the hoop, getting fouled, getting us some easy baskets. Those guys play at a high level. It just rounds out our team because we know we have, lots of skill and experience with our core group. But I thought that was really key tonight.
We've talked about this plenty already this season, but your closing lineup choices seem to be more convoluted than ever. Do you feel that tonight when you mentioned JK and Wiggins, they were mostly out there?
Yeah. I mean, I tonight was a difficult decision because JK and Wiggs were playing so well. But we decided to go to Gary because he was fresh. He's our best on-ball defender, and they were killing us in small guard ball screens all night. And then Gary is a great finisher. I mean, he's basically a power forward in a guard's body, and he made that key hoop late off of Draymond's lob. He's got great feel around the basket, and so we went with Gary, but it could be 5 different guys next game. But right now, I think the guys are all just doing a great job of supporting each other and, really contributing when their chance comes and just accepting whatever decisions we make.
Following up on that, and I kind of asked you this after the Kings game where Clay hit the game winner, because last season you guys really struggled to close tight games, especially a game like tonight where it wasn't all going for you, and now you actually have options of who you want to close. I mean, what is the difference there?
We need to leave last year in the rearview mirror. We have a decade of experience closing games, winning close games, winning championships. So last year was the exception. This year is the rule.
What does it say about your resolve that you guys were able to
says we are who we are. We're, there's a reason, these guys have hung banners and they're wearing rings. They're good at this.
It seems like a message you're almost trying to get out there to stop talking about last year. I mean,
Yes. And I'm talking to you guys.
I'm wondering if that's even in the locker room. It's just
We don't talk about last year, but it does keep getting brought up, and obviously, Draymond brought it up himself the other night, so that's on him. But yeah, every year's different, but the track record of this team over the last decade, this is the norm. And we add Chris Paul to this group, 13 assists, no turnovers. That's insane. I think it's now something like 54 assists, 6 turnovers on the season. So, yeah, we're back to kind of who we've been, but we've added, one of the great point guards of all time to the mix, and so, we got lots of work ahead, but we feel good about our team and what our potential is.
You talked about all the championships and wins and so on and so forth, and yet this young team comes in here and goes blow for blow with you. Your thoughts on the Thunder coming up, and they're without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hanging right there with you guys at the very end.
Yeah, these guys are coming. Everyone can feel it. You can feel it last year, and now they have Chet back healthy and obviously playing at a high level. He's really added a different dimension to their team. So. OKC's coming, and they're loaded with talent, extremely well coached. So we know that they're going to be a factor all year. Thanks.
Thank you. One of the crazier finishes you've seen.
Yes, probably one of the craziest thing in the end. How every possession, the emotions was switching, you know what I mean? Like sometimes, okay, we good, sometimes, maybe not, But obviously, it was a team win, we play hard through the whole game, and, sometimes you need to be a little bit lucky, sometimes you need to make a right play in the right time, and I think that was crucial today, our experience, and make the right play in the right time, so, it was a good team win.
How good does your shot feel?
I'm feeling good, I hope I'm going to continue doing like this. Sometimes you're going to have up and downs, but, try to keep as best as I can percentage-wise and, on the court too. So, no hesitating shots. Try to be, shoot the best I can.
How the Warriors have, historically used stretch bigs and bigs who can shoot the ball well. I mean, was that something you were really confident with then coming into this team?
Yes. I think I was more confident coming with a team who knows how to play. High IQ level team. Everybody know their own role. And I was, watching during this summer some Golden State games. How I can find my fit in. And obviously, have that kind of like chemistry with Chris. Playing together in the Suns. I kind of find myself in and. I hope I'm gonna continue doing like that, but it's very fun when you're playing a team who is winning all the time, very fun when you play a team who is sharing ball all the time, so I hope we're gonna continue doing like this.
You played here last year for a few months. I'm just curious your perspective on, that group. They seem to be on the rise.
Yeah, for sure, they are a very talented group of people, I think. When you have individually, they are like amazing basketball players, amazing talents. And, they try to figure out how to play team basketball. And I think they are doing pretty much good this year. And, I think they're going to be great for so many years. Sometimes they need to figure out how to play all these guys in a certain time. It's going to be tough, but obviously, great team, great talent. I think it's a great future in front of them, Very good group of guys there, so, and winning mentality, they have winning mentality too. So it's going to be fun watching them down the road.
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
GP2 looks healthy.
He looks great.
He's had a great start to
Really
the
good.
season. The three-point shot has fallen for him. He's playing some lockdown defense there. That was a wild pass from Steph and Curry there. GP2 and this bench, they're playing really well, as you said, Willie, 57-37 tonight against OKC. So the Warriors will fly to Cleveland to try to get their 5th straight road win of the season. Again, 8 had to start 7 in their first 9 on the road. Well, so far, so good for the Dubs.
Let's wrap into that last sequence.
That's two teams trying to win a playoff game. Very intense. A lot of calls could have gone either way. They got the benefit of the doubt on some of the calls. We got the benefit of the doubt on a couple calls. But you just saw two teams competing. We talk about this in-season tournament, and it's a playoff game. And it was a fun game to play in. The intensity level was there. So job well done to the NBA, adding this type of excitement in November, because it'll be some dark days in November. But you get games like this, you can appreciate them. So it's great. And then, they had guys make plays down the stretch. We had guys make plays. We came out on top.
On the tap, there was a lot of confusion because initially it was a goaltend on you. After they initially credited you with the tap, back now it looks like Steph is getting the game winner. You were down in the mix and obviously arguing with what was going on. What's your perspective?
My perspective was that my hand touched the rim, because I was going. It looked like the ball was about to pop out, so I was going to get a putback. And when I jumped to get the putback, Giddey went back into my leg, so it kind of brought my hand down and hit the rim. But hitting the rim is not a goaltend, so I didn't affect the shot, and we won. I also saw Giddey had pulled the net as well, so it was some confusion on it. And Shea has said if he touched the net and it didn't affect the ball, it's not a goaltend. And she said if I touched the rim and I didn't affect the ball, it wasn't a goaltend. I knew I didn't affect the ball, so I thought it was good. And we got the bucket.
Dario was saying that during the review, maybe not for you, but it was emotional in the huddle, just okay, wait, no, we're feeling good, or wait, no, is it going to go the other way? I mean, what was it like, what you knew in your head? I didn't affect the shot, but waiting for what are those feelings?
You're kind of just really at the mercy of the referees, though, because I didn't believe I affected the shot, but I also didn't believe I was a blocking foul either. You're kind of at the mercy of the refs and whatever call they decide to make. They decided that it was a no call, so take it.
2 tight games for you guys. Clay hitting the game winner against Steph tonight. What's your opinion on the way that you guys have been able to close out?
It's very important. We struggled a lot last year to close out tight games, so to have our first 2 tests, in tight games, thought it was really big for us to come out with 2 wins, and tonight especially, we didn't have any energy, and those guys were kind of getting what they want on the offensive end, so we never got stops, and just to pull that game out, like I said, it's a playoff game. That's a win, and that's a mark in the win column. No matter how you got it, we got it done. But yeah, I thought our energy wasn't there. That could have been a lot better. I also think our young fellas not being here, Trace and BP and Lester, the energy that they bring to this team, we missed that. And, so next time we have an in-season tournament game, we need those guys here because they bring a lot of juice for us. And you always talk about young guys bringing energy. That's their job. And we don't have to tell those young guys to bring energy. They do it every single day. So I wasn't overly shocked that our energy wasn't there because they are the guys that lift our energy level, and they weren't here. So we got to do a better job of that. But overall, give this team a lot of credit. We stuck with it and pulled the win out.
Would you like to see them get pulled back?
For 1,000%. Absolutely. We need them here. They're a big part of the fabric of this team. So we missed them tonight.
What's the defense out of the night for the defense? Obviously, you gave away on 39. you're the defensive captain. Where do you think this team's at?
I think we're a really good defensive team, and we had an awful defensive night. We didn't do a good job of getting into the ball. There was too much indecision. Indecision leads to lack of communication, and lack of communication leads to defensive breakdowns. We had defensive breakdowns all night. And we can't do that. Like I said, lucky to escape with a win, but we have to be better defensively. I'm not worried about it. You're going to lay an egg every now and then, so that's our one. Sunday, we got to come back with a much defensive effort and a much better defensive effort, and I have no doubt that we will.
Dre, what do you like about what Dario's brought to the
Well, number one, the way he stretches the floor, I think is absolutely amazing, and teams going to continue to guard him like that. We encourage him to keep taking as many shots as he can. I also think he brings a certain level of physicality, and then also a very smart player. When you add smart guys to the floor, like Dario, him and Chris out there dicing teams up. J.K., Moses, that second unit has been dicing teams up and winning games for us. And so Dario has been huge for us, and it was the reason he was our number one target in free agency. We're talking to Mike Dunleavy, and Mike's like, yo, Dario's our number one target. We need to get Dario. And we went all in. And for us to have him here, we knew how much he'd helped this team. The chemistry that him and C has is great, and he'll continue to help us as we go, and his opportunities will continue to grow and grow.
There's a little nostalgia for you, getting into it with this crowd a little bit.
I mean, I didn't even pay them any attention today, but yeah, this crowd tends to go at me quite a bit, but we usually win, so. Oh, it's fine. But this is a great crowd. Honestly, I love coming to play here. Crowd brings it every single. I don't think I've ever been to a game here and the crowd wasn't in it. They bring it every single night. And so it's always a fun place to come play. And then you got a young team. I think Sam has done a great job with, finding the right young guys. And that's a really good young team that's starting to make their mark in this league.
What do you think of Chet?
Chet's a problem. He can play. He can dribble the ball. He can shoot the ball. Has great length, a great shot blocker. He's only going to get better, And for a young guy like that to have the feel that he has, you don't see many mistakes out of him. And I thought that was big. You also, him having last year and being out, but yet being able to be around it shows. He's not making the typical mistakes that a rookie would make. And so I think. The sky's the limit for Chet. We've watched him for years leading up to him coming to the NBA and always like, this kid has a chance, and now we saw it tonight. He's going to be a problem for a long time in this league.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate that.
7 for now.
Gallo Valley Sports. Josh, what did you take away that you guys fought through all of the noise throughout the night? The game seemed to completely change over the final 5 minutes. I think there's sort of a flow earlier. Just as second game of season, how'd you feel like you guys did all of that?
Yeah, before we entered obviously, it was back and forth, and a team like that is never going to go away and be in this position. There's so many turns over such a long period of time that they know how to get themselves back into games and how to close them out. But I thought giving up 140 is a very tough score to beat the non-score, but we had no problems offensively. I thought that end was great. But these guys are a hard team to guard, and I thought, for the most part, I thought we executed the scout the way we wanted to, but it's at the end of the day, come down to shot making. They made a lot of tough shots. I thought we made them resort to other guys. Sarge hit 4 threes, Peyton hit threes, Kaminga was getting to it. So, we made it hard. I thought Lou, Kaysen, Dub did a great job when they made guys, but I think it was just those other guys that really kind of made the difference. And but we were good. I thought for the most part we gave ourselves every chance to win that game. Just needed to be a little bit better down the stretch, but we were right there.
What was the feeling like for you out there to be a competition against 4-time champs and bringing it to it that you could?
It's great. Obviously, to be out there is always a blessing. These are the games that you work so hard for, prepare for. Obviously, a great team. Great players up there. Like Josh said, it's going to be a 48-minute game. We're not going to go away. how to execute down the stretch and make great plays. And I feel like we did a great job of doing that as well. And obviously, a wild ending. And end up,
How were you after the elbow? What was sort of the Draymond Green experience?
I caught one, did my job, he did his job. That's the end of the play. I caught an elbow to the face, and that's what it is. He's a high-level competitor, and he really knows their system and what they do and how to be effective in it. And he's up there in the category of great players over there with other dudes, and I think it was great to compete with another competitor. I love to compete, so it's always great to have a dude across from you who's going to go at it with you.
Andrew Schlecht of The Athletic. Josh, I don't know if you heard anything about the explanation of the final play and if you touching the net had anything to do with the results, or if you heard anything from the officials on that.
No, I didn't. Once the ball goes up and they make the decisions out of our hands from there. But it's hard in real time, I guess, to make that call. But they have the ability to go look at the video, look at the replay. So they obviously saw what they saw and decided to make the call. But at the end of the day, I don't think for us it should have come down to that. We had every chance to win that game, but plays like that happen, calls like that are made, and you just got to move on and live with it.
And then can you just tell me about your mentality? You kind of struggled to get it going early on, but then the fourth quarter, rattled off like quick 12 points. Like what was in your mentality going into the fourth?
Just being aggressive. I mean, it's 48-minute games, so the first 36 can be tough, but just sticking with it. I knew just continue to be aggressive, get downhill, put pressure on the defense, and I obviously struggled the first three quarters, but I knew down the stretch it was obviously gonna be a close game back and forth. So just trying to make plays, keep the game within winning distance, and credit to my teammates, they made the game easy for me. Screens and Chet spacing the floor, keeping Draymond, Looney, those guys out of the paint, allowed myself and other guards to get downhill. So just trying to be aggressive and trying to not worry too much about what's happened in the past, and just kind of looking forward.
No, he had a huge fourth quarter. I don't want that to go under the bus. I was telling him, without him in that fourth quarter, it's not even a last possession game. So I just want to make sure that gets some attention. It's a tough guy right here. I don't know what neighborhood he's from in Australia, but it's a tough dude. I was telling him stay in, and he just, made big plays down the stretch. So that was big, and obviously it's not the outcome we want, but those are the type of plays that you really learn from and build character as a team from. So that was huge from him tonight.
Josh, sorry.
Chet, to keep this in perspective a little bit, you guys haven't played together 10 games yet. You guys haven't played double digits. You've played the defending world champions, and then Golden State obviously played hundreds. Can you talk about maybe some of the continuity that maybe you've learned from these champions and just getting together with these guys that, you guys haven't even played double-digit games yet?
Man, it's huge. It's amazing. I missed that opportunity last year to get out there and really learn them and them learn me and start to figure things out together. So this opportunity now has been huge. We're doing what we can to make the most out of it every single night. It's not going to be the same thing every night. So, until we play everybody, we're, at least myself, still learning as if it's game one. Every team does different things, and we have to make adjustments and learn from it. And I feel like we're doing a great job of that so far in the season, and I feel like things are carrying over, and it's just going to come down to staying consistent, staying with it through the highs and the lows, being steady, and really continue to trust each other no matter what happens.
Josh, back to that fourth quarter. You did this last year as well, but just with this year's new group, this is 2 or 3 times now that you have really kind of been able to dictate tempo and pace in that beginning stages of the fourth quarter. Is there something that you're seeing, things that you're recognizing over the course of the previous 36 minutes that you're able to put into action during that time of the game?
Not really. I mean, I think sometimes it's just being a little passive, and I get it. Sometimes get in my own head, and you miss a couple shots, you turn the ball over a few times, and you start to, bring your aggression back. But I'm lucky to have great teammates that, told me to stick with it, and and I just tried to be more aggressive in that fourth and got downhill a couple times. But for me, it's got to stop. It's got to stop taking me that long to get aggressive, get going. It has to be a thing out the jump, and I think last year slow starts was a problem for us, and that starting group is what's going to dictate the tempo for the rest of the game. And I think as a guy that has the ball in his hands, a lot of the game, I can't afford to be waiting 3 quarters, before I finally decide to get aggressive. So I got to be better in that aspect. But luckily, there is a fourth quarter, and you can turn it around at that point. But I've just got to stop waiting so long to get aggressive.
Josh, you talked about how much the guys on the other side have been through together. You got a guy in Chet and Kaysen who started tonight who haven't been through anything like this. I just wonder what you thought about them in the first kind of atmosphere like this.
Yeah, they were awesome. Obviously, these guys have been playing together for years in their core group, and they know each other like the back of their hands, and those things, you can't, make that happen overnight. It comes with time and games played together, and I thought, implementing Chet Case into the team has been, really easy. 2 really unselfish guys buying into what we're doing, and it makes it so easy to play with them. So, it's been easy. There hasn't been much trouble in terms, not just for me, but for the rest of the group. It's been pretty seamlessly fitting them in, and they're doing what's asked of them, and more. So, 2 great guys, 2 very team-orientated guys that are going to be big parts of what we're doing, going forward.
Chet, it looked like you swapped jerseys with Steph, and I believe you've been to his camp before. Can you kind of describe y'all's relationship and then what it was like to play against him for the first time?
First time playing against him in the NBA, obviously, touched on it earlier, great players over there, and he's one of them. He's definitely a guy you got to know where he is at all times, and it's a cool first full circle moment, I guess you could call it, going to his camp however many years ago it was, and now being in the league with him and playing and competing, and that's what it's all about. I want to go out there and compete with these dudes, and they want to do the same. So it's great. They're up 1-0 on us, and we just got to continue to get better, and for when we see them down the line.
Last one, Michael. Go ahead.
Chet, there's been a lot of conversation about you adjusting your teammates adjusting to you adjusting to the league. How do you feel like other teams are adjusting to you? Because as a rookie, you're sort of on a blank slate where I doubt a lot of these guys are crunching like your pre-draft film and things. Can you feel them like sort of trying you throughout the game and adjusting things?
Yeah, my film from pre-draft is completely out the window. I worked on my game a lot and added things, and I'm doing things now that I didn't do then. I did things then that I don't do now. So it's and you can see it in the games. Teams are making a lot of in-game adjustments with matchups and schemes, and going from drop to switch to Looney to Draymond to they even played zone tonight. Like whatever it might be, it's just going to come down to myself and our team reading what that is in real time and figuring it out as we go. It's going to be a regular thing. Not only myself, but teams are going to make adjustments to what we're doing and try and counter it. So we just got to be on our toes with all that.
Thank you, guys.
How kind of involved in the discussion were you late about if that was or wasn't a goaltender, or whatever they were going to call it?
Involved in the discussion. We can't make the decision. We just trying to figure it out like everybody else.
What was, we're just trying to figure out was it a giddy, grabbed the net, that's why?
I don't know. They said it counted, so
Yeah.
on to the next.
What do you think of, obviously the end of the season tournament, because they wanted to make the segment, but just this type of environment and intense of a game the first couple of days into
Honestly, the in-season tournament is great. I think it's going to be extremely competitive. But I tell you, whether that was an in-season tournament game or not, it was going to be the same way. You know what I mean? Like, you got 2 very competitive teams that, we on the first game of a road trip, and, we need wins, and I'm sure they're thinking the same thing.
It's only been a handful of games. What do you think about the way that you guys are closing?
I'm a big believer in piling up wins. You know what I mean? We're still trying to figure out, defenses and all this stuff, you know, with a short training camp and the new bodies and people coming in and stuff like that. What was it? I forgot who we was playing against. That was the first time we did our press break offense. You know what I mean? So it's certain things that we still putting in and sort of figuring out. But we want to win games and figure that out at the same time.
Steve was mentioning he thought you guys will take the next step when Wiggins come in and Gary really kind of insert themselves athletically, like Wiggins did late tonight on the glass.
Yeah, and they doing great, but also me too. You know what I mean? Especially on the offensive end. But like that's what I said. Like it's crazy being in team sports for so long. Things could be a lot different if we were trying to figure this stuff out right now and we were losing. You know, when you winning games, just everybody's spirit is better or whatnot. We know we still got a long way to go on the defensive end, execution, all of this, because the lineups are changing. And when you got a core group who's been together so long, they got certain things that they just, you know, we know this will work. You know, they know this will work, but incorporating myself, JK, and all that stuff, it takes time.
I assume when you're talking about yourself, I mean, you have 13 assists now, you're talking about just your jumper right now.
Yeah, shit ain't going in. You know what I mean? But good thing about it is I know that that's not the normal. You know what I mean? But it's crazy to think about. You know, I could score 1 point or 2 point and we still win the game. So it's a nice luxury to have.
You know, Chris, one night it's Moses, one night it's Jonathan, tonight it's Dario. How cool is it to be a part of a team? We're looking at this bench, like it can be really anyone tonight.
Yeah, that's just the depth of our team, you know, and you need that over the course of a season. And these guys know they won 73 games one time, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that they didn't win championships, you know what you're going to get out of Steph, Clay, Dre, and different guys or whatnot. I think us building up the confidence of our bench in that unit all season long is going to be big.
You were with them kind of on the front side of what they were building. Obviously, Shea is a piece that you were with. What do you, as you kind of look from the outside, see with this group that's been built around Shea?
I mean, Shea is Shea. You know, he gonna do what he does. But I mean, I look at them guys like my family. You know what I mean? Especially Shea and Lou. You know, and Bays and a number of those guys, Schroeder. But they were with me. That was the first year I lived without my family. You know, so those guys, we super tight for life. So it's crazy to see Lou. You know what I mean? I'd just be so happy for them. Obviously, I'm going to compete against them all the time, but Mark does a great job with them, you know, along with Mike Wilkes and the coaching staff and Donnie Stratton, all these people, man. They do a good job instilling confidence in all the guys. You know, like Lou played with us. He was a rookie, right? Played in the playoffs and everything. So they do a great job of, you know, making sure everybody has confidence.
Do you see what the world seems to start seeing about them? They're kind of, you know, really on the move.
Oh yeah, I know. It's hard in this league because, I mean, even last year they were really, really good. But, you know, when you lose those close games, you know, I talk about a lot of times there's teams that'll lose 12 games that's decided by 5 points or less, you know, and that's the difference in the playoffs at times. But they're going to be competitive every night. They're going to win games or whatnot because they play hard and they well coached.
And Fez, you know the deal. Great offense. Beats great defense.
I can't.
Every single time.
And down the stretch, the Warriors did that. A 14-6 run to end the basketball game there. Remember, they were down 6, 133 to 127. So they made all the right plays down the stretch, including Steph Curry going one-on-one against Lou Dort. All right, it's time for our Toyota Drive Ahead. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule. Sunday, Cleveland. Monday, Detroit. Wednesday, a date with the champs, the Denver Nuggets, and then they'll come back home Saturday night against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So this schedule's been fun, and another test on Sunday, and then, of course, that big test Wednesday. Don't want to overlook Detroit either.
Focus on Sunday.
No doubt.
Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. This is a really good Cleveland Cavalier team. They play well at home. And to me, they're one of the top-tier teams in the East. And then they got healthy. Garland is back. And
Mitchell put up 38 tonight.
Jared came back
Jared
tonight,
Allen,
so they're getting whole and healthy. And Donovan Mitchell's a big-time star.
I'm excited to see how this team bounces back in the next game, because one of the things we talked about over and over was the defense. So I want to see how they adjust to this, to going against a Cleveland Cavalier team that has a lot of weapons on the offensive end. So it's going to be another test for the Warriors, but they keep getting better and better. And this next schedule is a back-to-back and then coming back home to play against the Denver Nuggets. One game at a time. I got you.
One game at a time, because I was going to say Detroit's athletic, and you can't sleep on them. We saw what happened last season against the Pistons.
Tonight, 13 offensive rebounds for 9 more field goals. I thought Steve Kerr touched on that. And it seems to me, as we're watching these two units play, the first unit, second unit, Steve Kerr has asked Andrew Wiggins now to attack that offensive glass with the first unit. Second unit, Jonathan Kuminga, go attack that offensive glass.
What was kind of your perspective on just all the wildness late?
I mean, it was kind of back and forth. It was a one-possession game either way, and everybody was in the bonus, and just plays here and there that were really, indicative of just how wild the whole game was. Back and forth, a lot of scoring, a lot of playmaking, but a lot of competitiveness too. Like, I think everybody's trying to, get off to good starts. During the year, the in-season tournament vibe and the court change and all that just added a little extra energy to it. So, bled all the way down to the fourth quarter where plays are going back and forth, and it was obviously entertaining. Could have gone either way. Thankfully, went our way.
Yes, Steve was saying how he didn't think the call was going to be in your favor. Dario was saying how it was motion up and down waiting for that official call to be made. What were you thinking during the review? Were you thinking it was going to be called in your favor against you guys?
It was hard for me to see the jumbotron to see the replays, and I was kind of had my contacts in so I could see from a long way away the little monitor that they were looking at. I didn't see it in live because when I laid it up, I kind of fell on the baseline. I saw it go in. I saw Draymond was up there, and I couldn't tell if he touched the ball or not, or if Giddey grabbed the net or not. And I think they called it no good at first, reviewed it. And I know whichever way they call it, you have to have the evidence to go the other way. And that's where doubt crept in, because I couldn't tell what camera angles they had. But thankfully, they got it right, because if I'm not mistaken, he grazed the rim but didn't touch the ball. And good basket. I mean, considering we gave up 139 points, you're glad down the stretch we've gotten some necessary stops, and I think the biggest thing is we're just getting good shot attempts. Even, I think Clay's last possession, last game tonight, it was a tie game, so it really wasn't indicative of ball control, but the last 3 minutes, so we were just, making good plays, keeping the game simple, and that helps, maintain composure and not give the other team, extra possessions or kind of deflate you a little bit, so that helps you stay engaged and gives you a shot. And you're playing a numbers game at that point down the stretch, and you just want to have as many good possessions as possible. We've done a pretty good job of that.
13 assists and 0 turnovers for Chris tonight. What do you think about that?
It's impressive to say the least. His ability to see the court. He really got JK going. JK got himself going, but he got JK in the right positions. Got Mo some good looks. Dario obviously got him some good looks the whole game. He just has a knack for it. He's had it his whole career. And watch out when he starts making shots. Like, that's going to be the fun part when he puts it all together. So it's very, very impressive. I am super jealous of the assist-to-turnover ratio. I did not have that in my bag.
You jersey swap with Chet after the game. I'm just curious your early thoughts on him, and a lot of your shots tonight were going against him at the rim protector. Just how challenging he already is as a shot blocker.
He's challenging because he really wants it. Like, he goes after it. He puts himself in position to make those plays. obviously, offensively, he's ridiculously talented. He's a tough cover for bigs. He's a tough cover for guards if you switch, just because he can get from A to B pretty quick. He's got good finishing. He's got length. You have to respect him at all 3 levels. And he's just getting started. So it's the jersey swap and the history we have. He crossed me up at my own camp, whatever year that was. But to see him, now come, as I know he had a rough injury to start his career, but back and playing and healthy and playing well, it's fun to see.